expecting out of San Diego State, a tough-minded team, very, very well coached. My experience with the Rocky Long go way back many, many, many years, and what you see is what you get. And like I said, well coached, tough, physical, mentally just keep banging through the game. Very good athletes, and just an extremely solid football team. That's why they have the success year in and year out that they have.
And waiting for the whistle, and we're ready to get this thing started. Utah State and San Diego State live here at SDCCU Stadium.
I think they rose to the occasion, man, all of them. I think they all played well. I think they all were willing to just get down. We know that it was going to be a tough game. We know that San Diego State's a great team, and we thought ourselves as a great team, so we know it's going to be a championship battle. Those guys played their heart out, man. It was great to see from the first quarter to the last play of the game. You can tell right away that they were willing to do whatever to win. And they took on the challenges. Right? You've seen guys come down hard, they stayed in the gap, and they're fighting through. And if you put on the tape, I'd say for the last 3 games, that this front is tough and they're stout. And we're willing to do whatever to do to get our backers free, to whatever to do to get the win.
3rd and 5. Agnew has pressure, throws the middle of the field, tipped up, intercepted! Intercepted by Utah State to the 40, 35-30. Here we go, 25-20, 50, 10-5, and that is a Utah State touchdown. Shaq Bond taking it to the house here in San Diego. Woo! Free play. Love looking for it. Has a man. It is caught at the 30 and down to the 19-yard line. Savon Scarver gets to the 5, Ward into the end zone, and that is a Utah State touchdown.
I felt like it was going to be a hard game. They well coached, which we knew going into the game. They're big kids. But we felt like at the end of the day, we still could dominate, still win our one-on-ones. I feel like they got the best of us sometimes, but overall, I felt like, it was a balance and we won that. We won the extra effort at the end of the day. I think total rushing yards was like 90. We gave up 2 yards a carry.
Agnew has pressure. Spins out of it, runs to his left, has time, steps up at the 35 to the 30, waits, throws all the way back to the other side. He's got a man wide open. He'll walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Holy smokes.
You always give respect to San Diego State. How they've been in the Mountain West previously, and I played them my freshman year, so I gave them that respect to. Nothing. They're not going to give us anything easily, so we got to go in and take it. And we did a pretty good job at that. In the beginning, and we were giving them the fight, and we kind of tend to struggle at the end. But
here comes the pressure.
I feel like we did a pretty good job, but definitely something we can work on.
30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. He's going to score a touchdown. That's what happens when you bring the blitz. And San Diego State is within 6 if they're able to get this extra point.
We knew what we were in for. We knew that thing was going to be a 4-quarter battle, and when we play them next year, it's going to be a 4-quarter battle, and it's going to be a play here or a play there. And I talked to Coach Hoke before the game, and first thing Coach Hoke said to me, he said, "Hey, this thing's going to come down to a play here or a play there." And I said, "I agree, Coach, 100%." And that he's been doing this a long time, also, just like myself, and that's kind of what I expected. And
crazy, bizarre game, but the Aggies are going to win it. Final score in this one, 23-17.
We came, baby. We came and we conquered.
Hail, Utah Aggies! We're out to win, so fight, fight, fight! Utah State, hey, Aggies all the way! Go Aggies, hey, hey, hey!
Starting 1-0 is a heck of a lot better than starting 0-1 in conference. And the conference games are so huge, especially when you're playing that opponent in that situation where we haven't had much success throughout the years. Either way at that point, there's still a ton of football to play, whether you come out on top or you come out on the bad side of that. We're fortunate we came out on the good side of that football game, but conference games they're also very, very important, and especially in this conference this year. There's no easy outs. I don't think there's an easy out for one team any week as you go through, especially on our side of the schedule that we're playing this year. So you need to have your A game, or you'll get knocked down real quick.
It's just pure will, right? I think it's in football, it's basically one-on-ones, right? You're trying to win your one-on-one battle. And each and every one of those guys are trying to win their one-on-one battle every single play. Sometimes they have lost, but I promise you the next play, they're trying to fight back. And that's what it was, right? These guys have grit, and they're trying to win every single rep that they got until the last second went to 0.
he had more size, he was like strong and all this stuff, but the only thing that separated him and me was my 1-2. My 1-2 was more than his. The coaches understood that, but they went with more of a size. You know how it is, like, you got a 6'6" kid. You know, some coaches understand the value of having a hard-working, hard-hat kid.
You know what? Again, I think it's all about toughness. Guys having a blue collar, bringing that lunch pail, because that's what it's all about. If you can set yourself apart with being tougher, and again, we don't have those 4 and 5 star guys. LSU is probably all 4 or 5 star guys. We just got to make sure that we take care of us, do our schematically, get them right where they need to be, but then let these guys just play their butts off, because they like that challenge. They want to play against the very best, and they're going to play up for it.
Then you look at our guys, you have Chris Unga as a starting nose, Fua Leilua, and then Devon Anderson. You know, they ain't big, 6 foot to 6'2", you know, maybe even 5'11".
Height and strength, for me, I lack the height part. Being a D lineman, I love it. I love the trenches, being able to work hard for what I don't have, you know, gain that edge. And, you know, I never doubted myself once.
Basically, in different levels of conferences here in the nation, right, in the NCAA, that you will see 6'4", 6'5" defensive linemen, right? Here at Utah State, most of the time you won't probably get that here, right? That's just because the conference and all that. But you get guys who are willing to work, and it doesn't matter what size they are, right? And they're in there with full heart and willing to get down and dirty in the battle, right, in the trenches.
Hey, remember, it's under front, right?
It's not all about strength. I mean, strength do play a part in that, but you gotta understand, like, it can only take you so far. You know, you gotta be able to understand your technique, you know, line off the back, read blocks, you know, be twitchy. Understand that you can't stay on the block forever, you know, like, yeah, you know, you can eat up blocks for the linebackers to flow, but you gotta make plays also. You know, to be successful, I just feel like your mindset gotta be here. It can't be just you wanna be average. It gotta be, you gotta come to work every day. You gotta learn, you gotta know what you gotta fix. And yeah, that's the most part I feel like to be a successful D tackle, that's the mindset you gotta have.
Okay, if it's a check pinch, you guys good on that, right? Okay, we're gonna be pinch and thigh board it. It's gonna be a sneak. The biggest thing with these kids that they play with technique. You know, if you're gonna be small, if you're gonna be lack in one, you have to overcome it with technique. And these kids have great technique, and they're immovable, I'll say. You know, you can be 6'4", 6. We play against those guys every week, and we consistently control line of scrimmage, and they take pride in that.
You know, sometimes, you know, you get the first hit and they're like, okay, you know, he's coming, and that's what I'm there for. You know, I'm gonna be in your grill all day, and you're either gonna give it back or I'm gonna have to take it from you.
They're very blue collar, hardworking, and they're all willing to just get better every day. And each and every player that we have on the defensive side is willing to be a leader, right? And that's one of the biggest keys for me as a coach, seeing the development as I was at other schools, to hear that these kids are willing to get better every day. It's basically they're taking on every day as if it was game day. So it's great to see.
I tried my best to get in the film room, get on the field to perfect my craft, because there's something height-wise that I lack. So, you know, I got to do my best to see what I can gain an advantage on the field, because that's what's going to help me, you know, weight room-wise, strength, you know, the ability to use my hands, stuff like that, to gain an edge that I don't have. So
when I watch film, I watch everybody. Like, I watch all the little things they do. Like, I knew that 73 was top heavy. I knew if I moved around while I was pass rushing, I could get them. I could still win my one-on-ones with them. You know, so that was like little detailed things that I paid attention to. I knew that 60 was like their athlete. He was like a real twitchy guy, you know, so yeah, I felt like I was just doing, like, I felt like I was the information I gathered was proper, and they showed me that rather than telling me that, so.
First of all, this is a good destination for the Polynesian culture because they have a lot of family here in the state of Utah.
Polynesian kids, for me in recruiting, goes back to when I played. You know, for me, it's a vitally important part of our program. It's one of our 4 main areas. When we talk about it, it's recruit the state of Utah, it's have Polynesian players on this team, have a quality walk-on program, and have a quality mission program. I mean, that's how we recruit. And that's not my idea, that's Coach McBride's idea, that's Lavelle Edwards' idea way back when.
It's the tough love, you know, and family-oriented, how family-oriented we are, and the tough love we get growing up. You know, you did one thing wrong and you heard it, you felt it, and it made you want to do better because you didn't want that to happen again the next time you played. So, you know, our parents, they put us into sports for a better life. You know, we all came here to our grandparents and whatnot. They all, you know, journeyed to America for a better life for us. And some of our parents think that football is the way to get into school. You know, and that's the biggest part. You know, football, you know, that's a big picture, yeah, but the biggest picture is school. You go play football, but you're in there for school. You go to class, you get your degree, come home with your degree. If you don't make it to the league, at least you got your degree. And that's the poly culture that's what we want, you know, is for our sons and our daughters to excel in life and, you know, come home with that degree.
Come on, finish us out right. Ready. As a kid growing up, football was the ticket out of, you know, ticket to have a free education. So a lot of the Polynesian kids, their mindset is, you know, sports is my opportunity, especially in sports like football, rugby. You're starting to see a little bit of Polynesians playing baseball, very few Polynesians in basketball. Yeah, it doesn't fit our body type. So my honest opinion is that football just fits our culture. You know, we're brutes. You know, a lot of our people are big, strong, and you grow up, I don't know what it is. I grew up wanting to play football just like my dad, and you know, you want to go to the NFL. That was really my only goal in life, was to just make it to the highest level, and which was good at the time. But if I could go back, I would teach Polynesian kids to use football to get what you want in life. Right now, they think football is life. A lot of Polynesians, they just grow up, they think football is it, and that's going to pay for their life the rest of their, you know, they're going to live their life playing football, which is not true, you know. But to me personally, sports is all we have, you know. It's our quickest opportunity to get a free education and make money from it, you know.
Our ancestors were warriors, right? I think Troy Polamalu said it best. He said, we are natural warriors. So football just became easy for us. But again, football was just our way out, right? A way out for our families, a way out for us to get a better life, education, and making sure that there was food on the table later on in life. And it has opened up a lot of gates for us as people. Obviously, it's tough being Polynesian. You're raised tough with your father, and, you know, very old, you know, old school ways. They teach you at a young age how to work, and teach you at a young age how to respect women and respect your elders. And those traits carried on for us for a long time. You talk about coming together as a group. Polynesians are very, very different in that way, because once you see one, you're already bonded somehow, some way. We feel like we're all related. You know, we can say that, and it's because we all come from the same background. If you think about somebody who's looks like you, that was raised the same way, right, and that your ancestors come back all the way back to the same roots, you're going to be close somehow, and that's how we are as together. As the same here at Utah State, at Utah and BYU. I mean, obviously, I know everybody down in South, but there's just something about seeing another Polynesian. It's very different.
You know, for me, it's toughness, it's family, it's belief, it's them being in a position that they can handle being coached hard. You know, I'm an old school guy, and I believe in, you know, coaching them hard, pushing them hard, hugging them up hard, being there with them. And the Polynesian culture is so much of a family influence, but you have to earn your way into that family. You don't just wake up one day and say, hey, I want to recruit Polynesian kids. It's not going to work. You have to earn the trust through the families, and it takes years to be able to get that. And the success of those young men, as they continue to go through the program that we have, and they have success, it goes down to the next family, and to the next family, and to the next family. And, you know, jokingly many times say, well, they're all related. Well, you know, lots of Polynesian kids are related, and they consider themselves family very, very deeply, deeply, deeply into their roots. And if you do one side wrong one time, you're out of that family. But if you push them hard and you take care of them, you care for them, those parents and those families are going to expect that, and they're going to respect that. And that's what I love about that. Now, as far as you talking, having the Polynesian kids on the team, they bring that exact same feeling to the team, in my opinion. Toughness, a family-oriented group. They want to be around their brothers. They want to be part of their brothers, and they'll be part of that brotherhood forever with their own team. And it's infectious. It's very important to me, and I think it's very important to all the kids on this football team because they know what that can bring to a football team. And you know what? They're usually pretty big and pretty strong, which helps.
You know, a lot of us, I'm a very competitive guy, you know, and I know a lot of polys, you know, we don't like losing, you know, we don't like being the bottom guy, and I think that's what helps us, you know, get into sports and stuff, or what makes us get into sports is just, you know, we have something, you know, besides the physicality, we all just want to be out there and, you know, have some fun. It's fun to us, and, you know, polys, we just big competitive people, and we just embrace that blessing that we have, I feel. So.
The poly culture is definitely growing. You know, it was big in the West Coast, Midwest, and now it's extending towards the East Coast. You know, you see teams over there like, okay, there's a poly over there. You know, Tua, you know, he's over there doing big things, opening the gates for so many, you know, poly kids out there. And it's something that teams like to have. You know, they like to have, you know, we walk out and do the little pregame warm up, you know, with our little haka or whatnot. But, you know, the teams love it. They're all in for it. And that's what the big part about it is. You know, the teams taking that poly culture in and being able to accept it so that, you know, you can go somewhere from there.
I mean, now you're talking about 22, 24, you know, around that range here at Utah State. And then back then there was only maybe 2 coaches on staff. Here there's 5, right? It just grows. Back then it didn't help me because there really wasn't a Polynesian culture here yet. But the big one was just Al Apwaho, right? My little brother that came here, who I consider a little brother. So when he got here, it made the difference. It made it a lot easier, I should say.
Man, to have these boys next to me, I love it because we all, you know, we all come from the same background. Some of us grew up differently, but we all have the same roots. You know, we all believe in the same thing, and it's kind of welcoming because when I transferred here, I came from school. We only had about 2 or 3 Polynesian guys on the team, and it was all right. You know, I never really complained. But when I transferred here, I noticed what I was missing was just another, you know, brotherhood, another set of brothers that I have. You know, besides the team, somebody that I can. You know, a lot of the boys I can just talk to, and you know, if they need help, I'm there. If I need help, I know they're there. So, to me, it's comforting, you know. And then there's nobody else I'd rather work with than the poly boys, you know, because they're just like my brothers, you know, like that I grew up with, and you know, those are the guys that you kind of want to see shine too, because you know we all came, you know, we all know where we came from, and. That little island, you know, those islands in the South Pacific. To do something well, to do something that'll, you know, help us progress in life. You know, it's very cool, and I like to see the other Polynesian boys do the same as well.
Education is first, and that'll take you further in life, and to actually use the education that you get. So, Coach A, now we have the program Beyond Football. When I was playing here, the biggest sell people were giving was, hey, we'll get you a degree, blah, 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 blah. Well, I got my degree and didn't, you know, my first job, I was working at a gym, selling memberships. And nothing wrong with that. I was, you know, that was in between football and whatnot, but I didn't know how to do my resume, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know how to, you know, apply for jobs and all these things. And so Beyond Football is teaching our kids that, which is good for the Polynesian community, but like I said, I have a lot of younger brothers, and And so I always carry that with me. I always try to be a good, I always carry myself like, hey, what if my youngest brother too, he's watching you? Or now that I have a son, what if he's watching you? With, trying to hold myself accountable, having some integrity. But yes, it's very, 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 I do carry that along with, but I know people sometimes when I go back home, I went to my little brother's football game. He's a gremlin. He's 8 years old, little kids playing, big old helmets. And, a lot of people I grew up with come like, hey man, blah, 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 man, congrats. They keep pushing, blah, 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 And so I do carry that. It's motivating, It's always, there's guys that looking up to me or, wish they were in my shoes. And little do they know it's no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I definitely do carry that with me. Always, 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 always trying to hold myself accountable. If somebody's watching, specifically my little brothers.